So did I. That's why I was like.
He's got all the BB. Very, very close.
Stuff going on off screen, you know.
Lost Felix.
Yeah, me too. He's back.
I have Felix.
Okay.
Nobody move.
I was fixing it because I didn't have Leah.
Okay. Cog, are you in WoW?
No.
Okay, just checking. So.
Leah, this falls into the category of get here earlier if you want to talk about tea.
This is pre-gaming. We're post-gaming now.
I think the first one's my favorite.
The second one.
You're just supporting her.
I think so.
Like feeding a stray. You're telling her you're rid of her.
Alexa, please kill me.
It might not always feel like it, but there are people who can help. Please know that you can
That's
call
so
the National
depressing.
Suicide Prevention Lifeline 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Wow!
week.
That
Their
just
number
got
is
dark.
1-800-273.
GA's gonna call tomorrow.
Alright, well, she took it to the next level, and now I'm awkward, so here we are. Also, we're live, so that's all over the internet.
Cross-references with people with security clearance, and now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Jesus Christ.
No. Hey, Cassie, why don't you recap the last episode?
So, last time, you guys. Okay, and so let me say, I am getting a sore throat, so if I crackle and stuff, I apologize.
She's totally downplaying it. She's been laying around the house incredibly exhausted because
I'm
she's
fine.
most likely
I'm
caught
fine. I've
strep
had a
from our
double
middle
shot of
child.
espresso. I am good to go.
So
anyway,
if she loses her voice,
So-
you know what.
last time.
Camera, do not get infected.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just like
Yes.
mime, you know.
With the GM.
Oh, that's not good.
No, don't do that. That's not a thing we do. I mean, it was better than I was like, I'll be your hand puppet, and then I realized
No, it
how
was
the
better
implications
than
of
that
that,
time.
and I'm out.
No,
we're not doing
when we were in
that.
the restaurant and I was doing the forks. Okay, we have to move on. That was a really bad moment in my life. Anyway, okay. So, last time, you guys slept in Chance's garden, and you were awoken by the arrival of Dion, Lord of the Bats. And through eavesdropping, you were able to learn that Dion is Yernan's father and Chance's uncle. And you also derived that Dion and Yernan don't appear to be blood related, but Chance and Dion look like they might be. Lord Dion had a few questions for you about your previous encounters with the Demogorgon and your experience with, demons and this, that, and the other. And after talking for a while, he made a deal with you. He said that he would deliver you to the Autumn Court if you came with him, answered a few questions, offered your observations, and just kind of, helped him with whatever he had in mind. So after that, he took you to a runic circle, and he teleported you down into the Feydark. There you encountered a bound Fomorian who described that their area of the Feydark had been invaded by these strange creatures that they'd never really seen before. They were overrun. They started in few, and then the numbers grew. He also... after that, you guys began to continue to move through the tunnels until you came to this ledge that was overlooking a ravine. You attempted to creep closer to kind of spy what was going on below, but an unfortunate misstep actually caused a avalanche of sorts, a rock slide, and sent you all plummeting down into the cluster of demons below. No, well, you all went down some, but some of you did manage to catch on a ledge below. So, what?
I'm silencing your.
Oh, okay.
Your
Anyway.
boo-boo.
Okay, thank you. You fought valiantly though. But the longer that you lingered, the more attraction you drew, and it did appear that there was, the cavern was just infested, and more things started coming towards where you guys were. So ultimately, you did decide to retreat back up through the caverns. You made it to the teleportation circle, and Dion zipped you out. And upon arriving in your next location, he actually began an incantation and cast a spell that erased the memory for some of you of what occurred in the Feydark. After the incantation, he asked you to offer his regards to the queen and then immediately teleported away. So, currently, you guys find yourselves standing around. Yes.
Remind me who is Gibbery Laws. I know Earlith remembers.
You and Davi are the only ones. So,
And neither of us bothered to memorize the transportation circles, did we?
so the memory,
Transportation circle.
yes. They remember they remember the transportation circle, the first one. They just don't, as far as they're concerned, they went from the Feydark transportation circle to this new one. Everything in between is gone. They also don't, nobody knows what happened yet in terms of like, as far as you and Davi are concerned, you're like, okay, that was weird, But anyway,
First of all, let me say, it's very nice that we finally meet somebody down here that will do something not hard, not ask for anything else in return. Yes, gave us what we wanted. We teleported to one spot, now we're here. I don't know where here is, but I'm sure it's close. This never happened before. This is great.
We didn't just come straight here.
What are you talking about?
We went to the teleportation circle, which I need to
Earlith
write
is
down.
Leo, are you
Everybody's here.
okay?
Earlith is gonna give us some serious side eye.
You don't remember going to Chance's dad's place?
Yeah, we were staying at that house, and then we walked up through the gate,
You
and
don't remember meeting Chance's dad?
Yeah.
yeah,
We went to the
and he
circle.
brought us here.
You don't remember the chained Fomorian and all of the demons that we killed?
How many mushrooms
Don't
did you
remember standing in
eat
the middle
down
of the
there?
thing with
Have
me?
you been having nightmares?
The women
No.
party.
Do you need a hug?
Kagan, don't you remember? My God, you took me towards the big damn demon instead of away.
That doesn't sound like anything I would do.
That sounds exactly like something you would do.
We even
This
killed-
sounds like another one of your attempts to try to blame me for some kind of random activity, and I won't have it.
My God.
How do you remember?
I remember everything.
Ah, so you're in cahoots, I see.
No, he cast a spell on you all.
I
You
will
know-
remember that.
The one kind person we meet in the Feywild, and you both have the nerve to try to come up with some story to
Everybody else
degrade
wants
them.
something from us.
And
Whenever we go
when-
anywhere, this
excuse
man,
me.
this fine man, does that in goodness of his heart and a familiar relationship, and now we're here where
Excuse
we
me.
be probably.
Excuse me, I would like to speak, please.
Are we still in a closet? Where are we?
I don't know where we're at, but I'm going to say, when did we have time in your scenario to come up with this plot? We didn't.
I don't know.
I mean,
Women always plotting.
yeah, well,
We have not left your side by your own acknowledgement.
I mean, we all went off to.
Transportation circle to here, so we didn't have time to concoct this story.
I mean, it doesn't sound like much of a story. I somehow dragged Davi to a place that I shouldn't have, and
No, you didn't
I think
drag me.
that-
We all ended up there. You and I, though, ended up in the middle of the stream where they were all up on a cliff.
You should have come up with something
Okay.
more creative than we found
Except for
demons stuff.
Jackie,
Those are
who was down
everywhere.
Calm down. Everybody just calm down a minute because I'm going to give you a synopsis of what occurred. We went to the transportation circle,
Yes.
and then Lord Dion, took us to a chained Fomorian that he had, and we questioned it.
I've never seen a Fomorian in my life.
He just keeps it, whatever this is now.
Then we promised it death and all kinds of other stuff. I'm not clear on that because I really checked out. So then,
I'm seeing some holes in your story.
then Dion took us to a cavern for us to see some things that were happening. We got into a rock slide. I kept Leo from falling over a cliff. Unfortunately, I could not catch all of them. So, Kaganos, Jackie, and Navi all fell into the stream. There were these weird fish wizards, and there were some more of those. What were those? What was the thing called that we killed outside the little wagon thing? Can you remind me?
I have it.
No DM help.
Hezru.
Hezru. We killed. There were two.
Who said that?
One Hezru. Yeah.
There was a Hezru, and there were some other undead things. Definitely things I'm familiar with. We killed quite a lot, but they kept coming, so we zapped out of there. He did a little finger wiggling, and now you guys don't remember
Whoa.
anything.
TMI.
I'm just saying. So that's what has brought us to wherever we are, and you're just gonna look around the room. What does it look like?
It is a round white room. Very barren. There's the runic circle in the middle. You all fit comfortably in here because I don't do sizes apparently. And there's, like there's enough room. Yeah, there's enough room for you to all kind of, move around a little bit, but it's not a huge room. It looks like the room was literally built to hold this circle, and that's like the sole purpose of it. There is one wooden door that is over on the wall. And you do have sunlight coming in. It goes up pretty tall. You can you surmise that you're probably in a tower of some sort, and there are very high but small windows that are allowing the sunlight to come in.
Okay, so I suggest we go and open that door and see where we are.
Jacob has already left.
No, well, he has. Do you guys accept that we are not crazy and that something happened? Because you have got to get it together, and because there's a lot that happened
When would that have happened?
that
It
you don't remember.
sounds to me like the crazy people making up stories are the ones that need to get it together.
I will remind you that you gave up memories since you've been down here.
Oh,
Memories that you no longer remember of a demon that you tell us that we know and remember, but you don't.
and somehow that's affected everyone else in the group, other than you two.
I'm
I'm
saying
just
he
saying.
did it to you.
Who did it to me?
Lord Dion enchanted the three of you. Hey, is there something that you can do, Navi, that maybe would restore their memory?
Did he say something inappropriate to you two? Is that what's going on?
Willing to let me try?
Try what?
Is it gonna be as effective as this mushroom thing you're growing up and can't get rid of?
Restore your memories.
I'll try to cast a spell magic. I'll try to cast a lesser restoration. I don't know that it's going to work, but I can try.
Gag.
Which one?
I'm paying attention.
Got a favorite?
He's asking a question.
Yeah, I thought she was talking to you.
Oh, no.
Who is willing to let Navi try to restore your memory?
This is a nose go situation.
I'm
Hey.
willing.
Oh, good. Jackie
Okay,
is.
I'll try it on Jackie.
Jackie is the amazing. The crown must be giving him some advice to let.
I'll advise him just to take anything that's magic so that it doesn't get messed up by the spell. Just in case. Otherwise, I think I'd have to cast it on the item.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
totally do that just by accident.
Yeah.
I would hate to mess up something they heal him.
And suddenly becomes Jacob is the rest of the team.
So what are you casting on him?
I'll start with the spell magic to see if there's any lingering spell that's on his mind.
Okay. So, you go over, holding your sacred symbol, praying and placing a hand on him, and cast Dispel Magic. And you don't feel any different, Jacobus.
And then I'll try lesser restoration.
Okay, and seeing that he doesn't, he's just kind of watching you, waiting, anticipating, nothing seems to happen, so you go and you try lesser restoration as well. And once again, you just can't seem to be, you can feel it though, as you kind of like prod, you feel like this hole where it used to be, but it's almost like you just can't quite clear the smoke. It's pretty, you definitely get the impression that the caster of this was certainly a powerful individual. It's just, you just don't quite have enough to push his effect away.
Who can feel it, Dobby or Jake or Jackie?
Davi can.
There's a hole there in your memory, but I can't. It was too high, too powerful. Can't do it.
So I stand there with my arms crossed across my chest, just shaking my head.
Well, maybe the somebody in the autumn court will be able to.
Are you sure it didn't cast a spell on you?
I could feel him trying to cast it, and I was able to shake it off. Yep.
Like Taylor Swift.
It's the name of my next character, is what that is.
Who carries the bag of holding?
I assumed it was Tab.
Oh.
Dobby?
I think Dobby's technically carrying it. I don't know.
Hey, Dobby, can I see the bag of holding for a second?
We should not let the crazy person carry it.
What do you need? She'll just kind of hold it out for him.
I'm gonna stick my hand in and pull out that dwarven shield,
Okay.
the clan Darda shield.
Okay.
Where are you
I love
taking
how
my
easy
shield?
Were you gonna use it?
Well, I was going to try to return it to its clan.
Well, I'll use it until we have an opportunity.
It wasn't in very good shape, was it?
No,
Yeah.
it's a terrible shape.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Shield I have.
Here.
Which is not at all. Alright, Leah's gonna have to stop that.
Meg's having issues with random noises at night.
Well,
That's not a random noise. That's an annoying
I
noise.
had to headbang earlier to
I think her bowl was unbalanced or something, so it was making really odd noises.
Her bowl is made of paper.
paper bowl.
Alright, set it down and like just poke it, see what happens.
Poke the bowl.
No, that wasn't it.
So,
I opened the door.
Jacobus
Let's go.
goes over, moves to open the door, and that's no problem. It swings right open. Heading down, there is a dark stairwell. There doesn't appear to be any light sources, but it just looks like it's spirals downward.
Is it natural darkness or is it unnatural darkness?
Make an investigation.
Can I see is the real question.
Oh yes, you can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it is not unnatural darkness.
No, yeah, your dark vision applies. It's
Okay.
just there are no windows or anything here. It's
Okay.
it's solid walls heading down. No torches, no globules. It's,
Investigation. I tried to lick it.
What? It was under Arcana check. I don't know. What are you going for?
My save.
I walked upstairs.
Alright.
Okay.
Very in the middle.
Is there
It was my healing sprite.
okay. So you start heading downstairs?
Yep.
Okay.
I followed Jacobus.
Okay, so you start heading down this narrow stairwell, and as you go, you do notice that the it's not in.
I stay behind Little and memorize the teleportation.
Okay. It's not. The stairwell isn't in great shape. You know, the stairs are a little bit chipped. They do appear to be made of like stone of some sort, and it's just kind of quiet, and it doesn't strike you as frequently traversed. At least as of late. You continue down in this spiral, and it is a long way down. You loop around on yourself at least a dozen times. Though finally you do get to the bottom landing, and the room down here is about the same as the one was above, except of course the stairs are protruding into it a bit. And there's another door that, just like the one that you encountered before.
Open it.
Okay. Jacobus pulls open the door. Again, nothing bad happens. Let's even move our little marker and see if you.
This has been too
gosh
easy so far.
Darn it! I forgot that I have all these updates. Okay, did that? How do I?
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
did.
I guess I have to turn off Fog of War.
Yes.
Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Okay.
Nope.
Why is it still color?
It's okay. MD.
I'm just gonna drop everybody on it.
Or you can just undo the fog by.
I did undo the fog.
You just do it manually.
Oh.
Click on the eyeball reveal areas.
I did that. I already did
You're
that.
like,
Because you can
okay.
see it. It's because it's gray.
On that side. Go.
See? Hold on. I'm just gonna drop people on it.
Girl.
Hold on. We'll just put everybody in the bottom. Do I have people? Hold on. Boom. 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 Boom.
I don't think that actually did anything. Whoa, it did a thing.
See? Now it has color. Okay.
I see nothing.
So, nothing. You should be. Really? Can't see stuff.
Yeah, statue lady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's
I
black
just
and
see
white.
a statue lady. That's
It's
it.
black and white. I don't know why it's black and white. Okay, so anyway, you open it up, and the hallway beyond is pretty unassuming. Nothing. You don't see anything roaming around. The floor is very
Lava.
natural. What? Did you say hold on?
I said lava.
What?
I was making a joke. You keep
Okay,
going.
anyway, the floor does appear very natural. A cave floor. It's got the normal cracks and bumps and texture to it. It's made of rough stone. The walls have been minimally carved to make a fairly expansive cavern hall. The ceilings are about 40 to 50 feet high, and it's about 30 feet across. It's pretty big. For the most part, these natural part of this the cave has been left untouched. You do have periodic pillars that are line the sides, but they don't appear to have any real structural use. They just appear to be adornments. A few have fallen over, a few have cracked. It doesn't look as though this area is kept up in repair these days. The hallway stretches both right and left. Over looking down to the right, you can see off into the distance this large patch of what appears to be sunlight, so it looks as though you can see the entrance here. And then the left actually heads farther into the cavern, into the cave. This area is actually less dark than the stairwell was, because up above you, you can see where these pillars of sunlight are coming through, almost as though there have been holes that have just kind of been drilled straight through the cave above to just let these pinpricks of sunlight come in to give kind of this soft glow to the area. So,
It's now blue.
well, good. I'm glad the lighting caught up. Except for Tab.
I go
So.
left.
I'm gonna follow Jackie.
Okay.
I go right.
Wait.
Definitely does enough to let Dobby
We
try
should
to
walk to
restore
the
his memory.
entrance and peek our way out and then go deep in the cave.
Don't split the party.
Wait, why are we going into the cave? What's outside?
You don't
I
know
don't
yet.
know what's inside.
Let's go walk to the entrance and just see where the hell we are.
Maybe we're going to Autumn Court. That was not in. That's not in a cave.
I mean, I don't suppose that going outside is going to give us any better indication of where we are at this point.
No, but we're not going to cave.
So what I've learned from you guys is that we were stranded in the woods, on islands, we're all dead.
Not because of an ambush, more because we starved to death.
Rafferty was de-spelled too, right? It was just
Yes.
Dobby and your
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Don't worry about missing anything.
Yep, there you go. Good. Out.
So I have
there.
no memory of anything. How long?
the last day.
Last encounter.
Yeah. Last
You
thing.
remember Dion, right?
Yes. Last thing you remember, Rafferty, you were met by this very powerful fae called Lord Dion, the Lord of Bats, and he said, "Hey, answer some questions for me, and I'll take you back to the Autumn Court." And then he just took you straight back to the Autumn Court, and it was so nice.
He didn't ask any questions or anything.
He was like the nicest person.
Just so nice. He wished us luck, and Dobby and your Liz have been trying to convince you otherwise, that nobody believes us.
So secretly he tortured us. Fun stuff.
We fought a big battle. We fought a bunch of demons.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Hey,
Got
I'm
you
gonna
up on
lie.
the cliff, so you were safe.
You were in
That's
water.
What?
You know, that should have a chance of overcoming
No.
Lingering dread.
Fell alongside into a pool of water, face first.
Your
Yeah, you were nearly drowned again.
your boots are a little swampy. That's it.
I'm Bruce Willis, Unbreakable. I have
It's water.
yeah, exactly.
You're the alien from Science.
Dobby's gonna start stomping towards the entrance to go take a peek outside just to see what's out there.
So, Dobby, as you go move towards the entrance, you do notice that your footsteps don't echo here. In fact, it is eerily silent. Like, your voices aren't carrying, they're not echoing, it's just, and there are no ambient noises around, no water, no airflow, nothing. It's just
I yell
dead
at the top of my
silent.
lungs.
And it doesn't echo. You're loud for those around you, but it's just, there's no natural reverberation.
What's up with that?
We're gonna be murdered.
Weird.
Did we die?
We might be dead.
Is this hell?
It's not that warm.
Elf hell?
But why'd we bring these people with us?
Elf hell.
What the hell did you bring to hell for?
I'm sorry, guys. It's like he can detect.
Oh, it's okay,
Back
Sans.
if I
Alrighty.
Smell other voices.
So, Davi is heading towards the entrance. Jacobus, are you still heading inward?
How far is the entrance?
Not too far.
A day's walk.
you,
About 25 yards, let's say.
you can walk.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I'm just walking over to look out.
You can walk there and back within a few
I'm
minutes.
staying there with Jacob. I was like, we'll wait here and you'll go see what's outside.
You can walk there and back within a few minutes. So,
I'll stand there and wait.
okay. So Davi, you head on down, and as you head out, you kind of peek outside, and it is the same sizable entrance. And there's not a whole lot to see. You do appear to be in the autumn court. The trees around once again had that like lustrous, bright, autumn colors. The landscape looks very familiar. There is a large body of water outside. You don't really notice any waves or anything, though. It does appear to be kind of still. But just kind of glancing around briefly. I mean, there's nothing that strikes you as dangerous, and once you do step outside the cave, you're immediately hit with just like the noise of the wilderness, skittering of animals, the leaves in the trees, but nothing that strikes you as alarming or unusual.
But we're obviously not in town.
Yes, you are not in town.
And okay, yeah, okay.
But while they're doing that, since I just remember this thing, I'm gonna send my owl down the left passageway. Just kind of look through his eyes.
Okay. And Davi, if you would like,
Yeah, I forgot you have an owl.
Davi, if you would like to see if you can derive any more information about where you are, you can roll a perception check if you want. So, okay. So Leo, you send the owl down, and he goes in for some ways. Yeah. The hallway continues. And it eventually opens up into this large circular room where there is this extremely elaborate mosaic laid in the middle of the floor. The image is actually that of the face of a young Celadrin being. They're very androgynous looking. They have kind of like this puckish smile, and their eyes are glimmering in the sunlight and is made of literal emeralds. They have golden hair that's actually like splayed out behind them, and it halos the entire image of their face. And it branches off in like these dozens of ropes of hair that stretch towards the perimeter of the room, making their face almost look like a starburst. And at the tip of each of these starbursts, it leads off into a different, smaller hallway, or it points towards the direction of a different, smaller hallway, if that makes sense. Dozens.
We should go there.
So Davi,
Did you say Celadril or Eladril?
Celadrin, yes, not Eladrin, Celadrin. They definitely have the being has like sharper features, and it definitely with the Eladrin looking a little more elvish and alien than the elves of your world, this one is even farther removed for sure. Davi, as you kind of peek around and look, you hear like a little bit of a rustling, something that seems a little bit different. You kind of lean around to look, and you actually see there is a shore not too far from you, a few yards, and there appears to be what looks almost like a white carriage that's floating at the edge of the water there. And you see an individual. It's hard to make out a lot about him from where you are right now. You can see that he has like this ruddy kind of red hair, and you can see that he's actually holding a book, and he seems leaned back against a log, and he's just kind of flipping through the pages. Doesn't seem to notice that you're there at the moment, just hanging out and reading.
A motion to the others. Come here. As quiet as she can.
Alright, I'm gonna come over. If I come over and I look out, because Earless did a lot of exploring those 2 weeks that we were in the thing. If I look out, can I do something to see if I recognize any of the area or anything?
Roll a survival check
It would help.
with advantage.
It would help if I have my character sheet out,
Did everybody with Jacobus and Theo go out?
I don't know where Cog is.
I'm hanging out with you.
Any of you live through?
So is the cave, does it look maintained, or does it look like decrepit?
It looks decrepit. It definitely. I mean, it's not in horrible shape, but it's not. It doesn't appear.
People come there every day.
Yeah, exactly. It hasn't been looted or anything, but it doesn't look like it's frequented. It definitely strikes you as a ruin of some sort. You look around, and you're not entirely sure. You're very certain that you're in the Autumn Court. Looking at a lot of the landscape, and just having seen, especially on your walk towards the swamp, the way the flora kind of changes as you move closer to the Winter Court. You're really sure that you're very close. As you headed toward closer to the Severance where the Spring Court was, the autumn landscape was fading more towards spring, and then as you head towards winter, it appears more wintry, and you do appear to be very solidly in the autumn area. So you would guess that you're not far from the court proper, but that's really all you can derive at the moment.
Okay. That was the most useless roll I've ever seen in my life. I'm just
So.
kidding.
Point out the person for Earless.
Okay, yeah, I see. I'm gonna say quietly. I mean, he doesn't look very alarming. He's reading a book. I mean, we might could find out what this place is, but I got a feeling that the guys wanna look down those down wherever they're looking.
I think we should go.
Are there any tracks
Tracks?
other than ours? Like,
Roll a survival check.
survival. That was terrible.
No, not that you can see.
Shit.
Dobby's gonna go talk to this guy. Oh my lord.
Okay.
Tramp out of the cavern, which means I'm gonna have to follow her.
I hope there's not a swamp nearby.
So as you head over, Dobby, you find that.
Try to sneak up on him. She's gonna be like, "Hey,
Okay.
be surprised." Okay.
So you head over, and the coast just kind of slopes down to this kind of rocky beach, and you walk over and you kind of call out, hey, and you find that this individual, who I will link, is sitting reclined against the log and shirtless. He's got one hand on his book, and his other hand's kind of like rubbing at his beard. His skin's this kind of aquatic green, and it's actually speckled with like red and gold scales, the red matching his hair. He's this long hair that's tied up into this like very messy bun with a piece of twine next to his moored. It's floating like a boat, but it looks very much like a carriage. And as you come over, he kind of like leans back and looks at you, and he kind of takes you in for a moment, and then tilts his head the other way. He's like, "Huh? Have we No one ever comes here."
Well, we're here.
So you are.
I just thought I'd say hi. I'm not entirely sure where here he is.
Well, I guess that depends upon what kind of what you're looking for. As and you don't appear to be from the Feywild,
No.
but you're aware that you are in the Feywild.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's a good start.
Actually, we
Yeah,
work
we
for the
know where
Autumn
we're at.
Queen.
Oh, well, in that case, then you're actually right outside the court, so you're
Oh,
Okay.
good. Yeah, we have a house in town, but see, this guy kind of teleported us here, and we kind of don't know where he is.
a frequent story. Well, I'm here working the ferry, so if you would like a ride back over, then I can accommodate that.
Oh,
We
that's
have some friends that are still in the cave there, but
Can you tell us what that cave is for?
yeah, what is that name?
Oh, it's the old temple.
Temple of what?
The gods. What do you build temples to something else?
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, which god?
All of them.
I'm a follower of Mark Morduin. So.
No, all the real gods.
Well, I consider him real, so, you know.
Well,
But
to
I
each their own.
understand he's not an Eleanor.
No, to Corlon and all of his children.
Do you know anything about the Traveler?
Traveler.
Well, long shot.
I'm afraid that's that. I mean, I work the ferry, but it's not a. I work the ferry not by choice. So let's say I have my own gods. I let me look up the bajillion gods. I follow the deep Seychelles personally. As for the others, I'm not as well versed. There are quite a few of them, but I mean, I don't believe that there are any priests that frequent this temple anymore, but surely there's someone else if you're looking for a traveler.
I'll keep looking. It's alright. I'm not worried about that. Well, why is there a ferry here? There's nobody that used to come to.
Because the Admiral thought it would be funny, so here I am.
The Admiral?
The Admiral.
You knew about the Admiral, didn't you?
Yep,
So
we
we'll
sure
see.
do know about the Admiral. He
That was somebody's husband that we talked to.
nope.
Nope.
Lady
Yes.
Renstray's husband.
I'm sorry, my memory is not
No,
what it
the
used to be.
Admiral is
It's been a
not
while.
Lady Ellenstray's husband. That's Rafferty's sponsors,
Who is also Renestray's husband.
but it's not the Admiral.
Yes.
But you're using negative statements, but they're all they should all be positive.
The same thing.
Yes. It's like a triangle.
Well, I'm gonna go back in and talk to my friends. We might be a little bit. How long will you be?
As long as he says I will be, and I expect that's gonna be a while. So
Okay. Well, thank you. And it was very nice to meet you. I'm Dobby, by the way.
pleasure, Roland.
Very nice to meet you, Roland.
Well,
I'm
I'll
sorry you got sent on a fool's errand, but maybe we can make it worthwhile and at least.
I doubt that, but you know, company's company, so we'll see what comes.
Well, that's true.
All right. Well,
All right.
Enjoy.
We're gonna go check on our friends before they do something that gets them in trouble because they like.
I wish you luck.
Thanks.
He goes back to reading, flipping pages in this book.
Can I see what the book is?
It's blank.
Can I ask you another question?
I mean, I get the feeling you're going to, regardless of what I say. So,
Sorry.
hmm.
It's just me. Why are you reading a blank book?
Those are the most interesting types.
Because you can make your own story?
Precisely.
I like the way you.
Can we just leave the face?
And he once again returns to reading.
Hey, you're gonna head on back.
Okay,
Alright.
so you head back in. You find Kai, Jacobus, and Leo hanging out.
So the left path goes down there, and there's a big picture of some cylinder, but then there's like dozens of paths just go on forever.
I suspect it's Coralon and his children.
So
I'm gonna
based
turn
on
and
what
start walking down the hall.
Okay.
Is no one gonna question that?
any religious markings or anything?
Where you are right now, no. In fact, the cave is now identifying it as a temple is almost surprisingly bare, intentionally so. Roll a religion check for me, real quick, Dobby.
I love that. Literally nobody's gonna pay
Okay.
attention to Earless. This is hilarious.
We haven't so far.
Alright.
So
I totally get to the point where I ask you what the hell you're talking about.
the it isn't you upon first entering it didn't immediately strike you as a temple, but now with this context you can see it. Through your travels you have definitely encountered places where these more natural gods, more rural areas where they do have these kind of more just kind of natural temples, especially when running into like wood elves and stuff, they'll have like a little shrine up set by a tree, and it's the idea of maintaining like the purity of the land, like they're not adding too much, so you don't see a lot of religious symbols as it were, just a couple of adornments out of respect, but it is all kind of starting to come together for you. You have seen these kinds of practices before, so. Okay.
Get back to the group and then report on Bloom on what that happened.
Okay.
Including the blank book.
Nice shake with
Wait,
it.
no. Because Earless just randomly said when Leo said there were Celadrin in the floor, I said I think it's probably Coralon and his children.
Yeah, but what other? Of course.
Jacob, as you head down and you find yourself in the big round room that Leo had described.
Should we follow him or should we just leave?
No, of course we should follow him. And then Earless follows.
Are you sure? Because he just put on a weird crown, took up the criminal shield and walked down the hallway by himself.
Earless follows.
At some point, we're gonna have to cut him off.
Okay.
Jackie feels he
Is
needs
there
to
any-
go down here. We're gonna go down.
Is there anything in the room other than the mural?
No, there's the gigantic mosaic on the floor. The ceiling is domed. You do have larger. There's no longer just the holes in the ceiling up here. You do have what appears to be kind of more ornately carved windows. You see a lot of the same kind of pillars. But it does appear to have been left as natural and raw as possible, aside from like the area that was smooth through the mosaic. Less bumpy than the picture implies. It's easily traversed. But and then you have all of these smaller hallways. Whereas the previous gigantic hallway was like 40 to 50 feet tall. These smaller ones are much closer together, and they're maybe like 11 feet high. They're some of them are. You do notice that some of them are significantly higher than others. Closer to like 20 feet. But they're just one after the other. Just heading off in just this broad circle, just following where the tips of the hair strands.
Do we all the hair strands look exactly the same? There's no
Yes.
difference. Okay. Do I recognize the figure at all?